Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Open the Gates Gaming streaming evening. So tonight we're going to be playing some more Farlands developed by Nathan, who will also be a player tonight. But before that, just a little bit of a content warning. Oh my God. So you may have noticed there was a new screen that warned you that we might be encountering sexual themes tonight, and that's because in the last stream we decided that we're all plant people. And that raised a number of interesting possibilities, including what does how do how does this plant culture feel about reproduction? What are berries? There was hashtag free the stamen in
Do
chat last
you
time.
wear clothing?
Yeah, do we wear clothing? Who knows? So, given that that's where things went last time, we thought it prudent to put a warning on this particular stream, but that's what we're doing here. Right. So with that, so my name is Chris. I'm one of the Open the Gates gaming team members. And in this game, since last time was all world building, which Nathan will summarize in a minute, this in this game I'll be playing my character, whose name is Sarato. He is a psychad person. Who is both a lore keeper and a traveler, so a kind of historian who also loves to travel and discover new things. And yeah, he is ink stained, bespectacled, frazzled, professional, ornate, nearsighted, wide eyed, and weathered. Are all of the most of those were just associated with lore keeper, which I took as a personal attack. So with that, I think maybe I'll pass it to Sean.
Hi everyone, I'm Sean. I'm also with the Open the Gates gaming team, and my character does not have a name. We have never had a need for names. I'm playing a fungus person, a pilgrim and crafter. Imagine a sort of giant moving around lion's mane mushroom, and the mushroom colony or creatures that I came up with have a kind of constant, let's say, telepathic or mycorrhizal thought stream link. And for the first time in going on this journey, this one has needed to separate partly from that. So has never had a need for names before, and is exploring what it means to be an individual for the first time. And I will throw over to Matt.
Hello, I'm Matt. I'm too busy speed typing fungi and I spelled it wrong. Hello, I do things on the internet, or at least I do sometimes. I haven't done them in a couple months. I lead the Mimics'N'Misfits channel, where we do lots of shenanigans, and I am playing Taraxa Bitterwort, who is a lion dandelion person, and has pronouns he, they.
I assume you're done, right?
Yes.
All right.
Passing to
I
Nathan.
am Nathan. I am the designer of Farlands. And today I will be playing Alblum Bramble, a vanguard and a tracker who is composed primarily of a tangle of thorny vines, very sharp and graceful and well camouflaged. They are sort of searching for any kind of companionship that can stand up to and put up with the thorns and all. So I am sort of a hunter and tracker and trap setter, but dedicated to protecting my companions from the dangers of the wilderness. And, well, not necessarily wilderness, but the land that we're exploring. Because in our world building session last week, we learned a bit more about the world that we now find ourselves in. We were once part of a grand civilization powered by powerful magic that we once had or believed we had under our control, or someone in our civilization did. However, the magic that was once tamed is now wild. We don't know exactly what went wrong, but somehow our civilization lost control of its magic, and the world rejected our civilization. The underground cities, ejected from the earth and flung into the sky. The flying cities crashing down into the ground. The lost, sunken parts of the world being raised, and sort of the world restoring itself to a state before we our hubris drove us to bind the magic into a static form. And now the magic has taken a new form, carried on the wind that blows through this world, where the more powerful the wind is, the more powerful the magic is, this force of change that is the world's healing from the I don't know if it was necessarily damaged, but healing from our former civilization. So during that calamitous uproar, we were all individuals from that past civilization who found trying to escape the chaos, found a portal through which appeared to be safety, and leaping through it, we found ourselves many years in the future. I don't know if we have decided exactly how many, but the worst of the chaos having subsided, we found that the world has been largely reclaimed by nature, it seems, and gathering together the other survivors from the the event, the calamity, to steal from Breath of the Wild more. We formed a little settlement, and after getting our little community stable enough that we could start exploring the world, we have set out to find what was left behind by our former civilization. So we have spotted to the north. I just put on the Roll20 where we will be drawing our map. I've marked X's in a couple random places. Those are going to be our landmarks. And I've marked one of them as the outpost. All that we know right now is that that landmark is an outpost intended for somewhere where we could stay for a long period, and signs of it are visible from far away, although we don't necessarily know exactly what it is until we find it. Does anyone have any questions or things you want me to touch on before we get started with gameplay?
Yes. What is the scary monster on the map?
The scary monster on the map, that was the best that I have for like a marker for our party. Actually, can we get the Roll20 up on the stream? Awesome. Perfect. I put some notes about the world in the bottom corner. The scary monster is the best that I have to represent us. That's my blight token. It was the closest I had to a plant person. So working with the tokens left behind from a campaign years ago. So Farlands being a collaborative map drawing game, the main thing that we're going to be doing is drawing cards from the deck to create biomes that we're going to travel through. We're going to encounter within each region on the map that we travel through, we're going to encounter a challenge that we have to overcome as a group, and then we're going to make camp. And when we make camp, we'll have an opportunity to chat with each other. In the text, it says around the fire, although I don't necessarily know if we would have a fire. But we get a chance to chat with each other at camp and learn more about what connects our characters. And we also will need to keep an eye on the weather as it will progressively build to a storm. So I should probably make a thing. how can I best track the weather? I'm just going to put a number up by this. I'm going to put a little text box with the weather, and I'm going to make it big. I'm going to make it big. I guess that's the biggest I can. Oh, never mind. I can make it bigger. So there are sort of 6 stages to gameplay. The first one is, so now that we've done the prologue, we've set the scene, we know where we are in the world. I've just put us like here, sort of roughly in the middle of the map. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to sort of learn what are the regions immediately surrounding our community. So using
Before we get into that,
yes.
Oh, I had a thing from character creation last time that I didn't have answers for, and so I just wanted to
Yes.
share that before we get into it, because actually I feel like there's some interesting overlaps here. So as part of the character creation, for those of you who weren't watching last time, all of the roles, and everybody picks 2 roles. All the roles have 2 questions that go with them that you answer as part of kind of creating your character. And I took some time to think about it after the stream. And so for the lore keeper, the questions are: what legend inspires you, and what legend fills you with dread? And so I came up with a proverb rather than a legend for inspiration, that fire augurs destruction, yet ashes beget life. So something, so some sort of, I don't know, folk wisdom saying that I think, I don't know, I like thinking about with the plant thing, like how do people think about, I don't know, the cycles, the world around them, and things like fire, like we were talking about. I also think there's a legend that high above the clouds there lurks a beast that can only be awoken by the chill winds from the south. Once it awakes, it will plunge the world into 1,000 years of wintry oblivion, where nothing can grow and all is frozen. So that's the legend I am scared of.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And then the other ones were what pushes you away from civilization and what draws you to the wilderness. I think pushed away from civilization, the one that that for us just fell, by reason of its own hubris and capitalism. And yeah, he wants to keep records and knowledge and try and learn from that. And he wants to drawn to the wilderness because there might be ruins from older civilizations, other civilizations that could hold knowledge or other ways to be in the world, perhaps. So anyway, those were just some things I did to answer those questions, because I really like these questions, as they're very open-ended, but I feel like they're really generative. So yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I had so much fun, but also went through so many revisions building these character sheets to try to the big thing that I am always on the lookout for is anytime when you look at something and just have no ideas, because like philosophically speaking, I have a really hard time in like storytelling games when you're kind of given a blank slate and told to just come up with something cool. And after playing For the Queen, I really studied the way that game uses the prompts, because every single card tells you something you didn't know and then asks you a question about it.
Interesting.
And that little bit of detail that it tells you gives you like the seeds for ideas, but the way that you like grow those ideas is going to be different every time. But it is a shockingly hard balance to strike.
Yeah.
So definitely like also looking for any feedback you have on any part of the character sheets, or really any part of the game. But in particular, like if you ever look at something and are just like, this doesn't spark any like ideas, either it's too open-ended or it's too specific, like please like let me know, because that's the like number one thing I'm on the lookout for.
Cool.
When's the last time you complimented yourself for all the work you've done?
Honestly, probably like after our stream last week, because that was so much fun, and it made me so proud of like what I've made. And I was actually, no, it was more recently than that, because I was talking to, okay, this wasn't complimenting myself. This was someone else complimenting me. I was talking with like my, artist that I've been working with on like the interior art, and I sent her a copy of the book, and was just like super super excited to keep working on it now that like she's seeing her art like in the book, and that just like really felt amazing because like I love the art. I'm super excited to keep working with her. So anyway, I'm also excited to play the game. So
Let's do it.
So, first thing is let's learn what are the regions directly around the community. So I'm just going to draw our little community there. There's going to be a lot of like freehand mouse drawing here, but we'll have to make that work. So I'm going to be looking at the far view table, or the distant table. I might change the name of that in the book. I haven't totally decided. Which is going to be the one with the spyglass in the top left corner, the quick reference. So we are going to I'm going to flip 3 cards from this, and each of those is going to give us a biome. So every region is composed of 2 sort of views. There's the distant view and the detail view. The distant view is what does this region look like from far away? And then the detail is what do we learn about this region only when we first enter into it?
Cool.
So when we are looking ahead and defining new regions, we're going to draw 3 cards and then choose 2 to make new regions. And then we will choose only one of those regions to actually travel through. So there will always be more things we've seen in the distance than we can actually explore. So first off, we have the Jack of Clubs, which is dense forest, impenetrable depths, a call to adventure, a fierce competition to survive. We have the 9 of Clubs, steep hills, a relentless, endless incline, no easy path, no place to rest. And we have the 5 of Spades, elevated mesa, raised above the rest, dominance unquestioned, ambition unrivaled. So, do any of those jump out to folks as regions you might want to put adjacent to our community?
I feel like dense forest makes sense because we would maybe be on the outskirts of the dense forest as, a place that is homey, maybe.
Yeah.
But also I love the elevated mesa idea because of the going to be very biblical, but like the low places were made high and the high places were made low, from our world building. So yeah.
It's the central plateau where you have all the tutorials,
Yeah.
right?
Yes,
Before you get the
exactly.
paraglider.
Or for really just critting Zelda. Yeah.
They're good games, okay?
It's a good game.
I can't say it wasn't an inspiration for this one. It's just a coincidence that we keep getting this stuff.
I mean, let's lean in. Oh yeah, apparently in chat, Stellar Whales. Oh, that mesa's got to be a fallen city. Yeah, I think so.
Ooh. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, anybody can go ahead and draw those on the map. So general guideline, I like to make my regions like when you're making a region, generally speaking, that it will take 1 day to travel through. So the larger you make a region, the easier it is to travel through. The smaller you make it, the harder it is to travel through. But I made the community very small. Our region should definitely be bigger than that. Like just to like benchmark, like I'd probably put something like that size-ish is like a reasonable size for a region. Because if you make them too small, like we just won't cover a lot of distance. So Chris, you seemed interested in the forest. You want to put that on the map adjacent to our current location?
Sure. I don't know how visible. Maybe there's like. Oh, actually, you know what? Sorry. I love thinking about maps and I love thinking about geography, and now I'm going to be absolutely insufferable. Because I like to think there's a river that bounds this on one side, like down here somewhere. Unless there's a generation thing for that, in which case I can not do that.
No, absolutely.
Okay.
Put in whatever details you want. There are ways you can get rivers, but I do. You may appreciate. I have like an aside that is titled "Why doesn't my map make sense?" Like my map doesn't make sense or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, my map doesn't make sense. The world doesn't have to follow the same rules of geography you're used to. It may be magical or alien, and you may be surprised how strange and dramatic our world can be too. Don't worry too much about realism. Instead of saying something isn't possible, instead ask, why is it possible? If a river seems to run uphill, there could be something atop the mountain drawing the water towards it. If you find a desert next to a jungle, could there be something leaching life from the soil? When you ask a question like this, even if you don't know the answer now, it is an opportunity to explore, to find out.
Nice.
The rivers in Breath of the Wild don't have outlets. They just run in a long circle around the map of Hyrule, and it hurts me every time.
Oh man, there's a YouTuber, Annie Austin, who does videos on like water flow and power lines and really pedantic, nuanced things in video games that I just absolutely love because it's so much fun to see like how people do those things when it's not something important, but you have to have it there in order for the world to feel right.
Right.
All right. And because I know it doesn't work to just say somebody draw it, I'm going to say, hey, Matt, you want to draw a mesa on the map?
Yes. Let me get
I guess
the
I could
correct
toss to
color for
Sean.
this.
But I've learned from experience that it's usually better to toss to a specific person. I've had enough experiences of saying somebody do this, and then everyone waits for someone else to.
Kat said something about the plants need water. So I have put water. We have a pond, a small lake nearby.
Perfect.
All right. So as we set out, let's find out how bad the weather is. So I am going to be maintaining a pile of face-up cards. That is the weather pile. And we are just going to look at the total value of those cards. And when the total value of those cards reaches 26 or higher, a storm breaks. And until then, it's just going to tell us like approximately how severe the weather is and what kinds of random weather conditions we can expect. So that's the 8 of clubs. So the weather is like quite mild right now. We might have, light fog and overcast clouds. Generally, clubs implies that the temperature is something like uncomfortable. So it might be like a little chilly or a little warm, but nothing too extreme because the weather's still pretty mild. So I will
That'd
edit
be nice.
the weather. Imagine that, right?
Yeah.
So I will keep track of the weather and update the thing in the corner so that y'all can see it because it's just tallying up cards that are in a pile on my desk here. So the next scene is the exploration scene as we are presumably moving into, can I select? Presumably moving into this forest as it is the only adjacent region. I realized belatedly that we should have put both of the starting regions adjacent to where we started so that we could choose which one to travel into.
Uh-oh.
But I don't want to go back and make us redraw anything. So, something that I just remembered regarding drawing regions. Each region can only have one landmark. So that's the only limitation on the size of regions. The next scene, actually, would it be useful to go through just what all the scenes are so that you know what's coming up before we get to them?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
please.
first we do the weather, then we do exploration. So during exploration, we define the detail for a region. So we're going to flip another card to see like what specific thing we discover there. Well, not discover. What specific detail we encounter there, because discover actually means a specific thing in this game. We also explore landmarks if we encounter one, and I'll get to that when we get to one. Then we have the discovery phase. So One of us has the journal, which is the item that, like, typically it'll be like an index card or like a token or something that tells us basically which player is going to make a discovery this round. I'm actually going to have one of y'all start with it because I a lot of times when I'm playing with new players, I will start with it to demonstrate. I think y'all are experienced enough gamers that I want to give you a chance to do it to make sure more of you have an opportunity to make a discovery. Does anybody want to volunteer? Who went on a hike most recently?
Oh, it's been a hot
Oh.
minute.
It was like last week.
All right.
Is that the winner? Is a week ago the winner?
Yeah, I think
Sounds
so.
like Matt.
I
Matt's the
volunteered
winner.
too fast.
All right, Matt. So when we get to the discovery scene, you will choose one of your discovery prompts and answer that question about the region that we're currently in. So take a
Okay.
look at your discovery prompts, and if you get any ideas from any of them,
I got
you
one in mind.
can answer that question. And then we will encounter a challenge. So we'll decide what is the biggest obstacle facing our team. How do we want to try to overcome it? What's at stake if we fail? And then we'll see if we suffer any complications. I'll get to the specifics of how that works when we get to it. And then we will look ahead. We will draw some new regions on the map adjacent to the current region that we're in. And then we make camp. During camping, the player with the journal will pass it to another explorer, and they will learn what your connection and your shared memory are. So we will learn how those two players are connected, and then that explorer will have the journal to make a discovery in the next round.
Okay.
Cool.
So as we are moving into the exploration scene, so we can so first we are going to define the detail for this region. So this is going to be the other big table, the one with the cairn in the top left. So just pulling two cards. Actually, I'm going to do them one at a time so that I can read them off. We have the 7 of spades. That is countless small animals, quick and clever, nimble little things. Or the king of spades, strange fish, an inscrutable oddity, a quirk of life that fills an unfamiliar niche, which works pretty well because we've got a lake and a river there.
Either way, it feels creepy. I can't
Yeah.
explain this.
Well, we haven't really decided like what animals are. Like, are there animals? Are we edible?
Well, yeah, we were having this conversation before the stream. It was like the relative importance to us of carnivores versus herbivores is, of course, very different than it would be to us as human players. So when I think of countless small animals, like I think of like I don't know jerboas, like little like mice and things like that.
So, oh man, I did have a thought that like there were small mammals like during the time of the dinosaurs, and small like furry rodents and like small mammals were one of the things that survived
The meteor.
the meteor. I forget. I was trying to remember the specific name for it, but I don't remember. And because of the like big ecological like vacuum, they were able to like swoop in and start like succeeding massively because of the sudden change in environment. And I wonder if it's like there are some like rodents or something that were like around, but because our civilization has fallen, are now like way more numerous or something.
Matt, why did you put the word beavers into my mind? Because now
That's it.
it-
So the question pre-stream was, how dangerous is your beaver?
we're earning that
We're all
content warning.
plants.
Yeah,
That's it. We're all
Yep.
plants. How dangerous is a beaver to us?
I mean, probably. Well, okay, if they're like those ancient ground sloths that were like massive and had gigantic claws, like I imagine if you're a plant person and a like 2-ton beaver the size of a polar bear comes out of the woods, and
Ground
wants,
sloths.
yeah, like, and wants to, turn you into the next bit of its dam. I imagine that's probably pretty scary.
It does say small animals.
It's true. It's true. Mm.
We might still
Well,
encounter the
Small
large
compared
herbivores.
to what? Small compared to the trees? Like, we have mushroom people. Like, how large are we?
I feel like
Also-
it should be relative to us, but
Okay,
I don't
that's
know.
a fair-
We can interpret that however we want, though. You know,
I mean, we could also like. I wonder what strange fish, an inscrutable oddity, a quirk of life that fills an unfamiliar niche.
What? Okay, hear me out.
Mm.
Why, in a world overwhelmingly magical, do the fish need to be in the water?
yeah, we
I
did
was
say
thinking this, yeah.
did say that wind, like magic is carried on the wind. We could absolutely have like. We have some really good suggestions in chat. Locusts are small, motile aquatic plants. Some really great suggestions from cellar whales and quarter adjacent. I do like the idea of like butterflies or something that gets carried on the wind like really easily as being really scary. We can absolutely do. I love like flying fish swimming around on like currents in the air.
Now it's getting Expedition 33 in that one level.
I haven't actually played that game. I really,
Oh my God, it's
I
really
gotta,
good.
I gotta get around to it.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, I'm here for that. I think that'd be super cool and like not necessarily creepy. Yeah.
So the other prompt on this in this scene is, what is it like to travel through this region, and how do we each pass the time?
Hmm.
I almost have this imagination that this, like, what was the description of the forest? Was this ancient forest or?
Very ancient and very difficult to pass through. I believe was what we got.
I am almost imagining that there is, like the wow, I'm forgetting every word today. My brain is saying lambent, but I don't think that's right. The effect that you get under the surface of water, where you get the like ripples from the way that the water diffracts under the
Yeah.
rippling surface, that something about the canopy of leaves above us almost has that like effect, refracting the light to create those ripples, and so it almost feels like being undersea.
Yeah.
And this area is, thematically like sunken, kind of like we had talked about
Yeah.
previously. And there are literally like fish swimming around through the air.
Yes, I love this. I also think like why can't the beavers be like, like the creatures of, that are told around whatever we decide campfires are. This is the thing you scare your children with are like the monster beavers.
They have these horrible blunt teeth, and they need to keep gnawing on wood or
Yes.
the teeth will keep growing.
Exactly. Yes.
Oh,
So
no.
why not?
Insatiable, ravenous.
Oh my God. Yeah.
There's
So
so
would
many
it be- would it-
horrifying
would-
things happening here.
Is a beaver dam then like a mass grave?
Oh
Yep.
no. It's
Holy
horrible.
shit. This escalated so fast.
I think I'm like trying to be. I feel like we've probably ventured out into this area before, at the very least, because it's close to the community.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is. I don't think we'd find real danger in this space
No.
particularly.
Otherwise, we wouldn't have like settled down here.
Oh, true. Yeah.
What if we think of them sort of combining the small animals and the fish thing? So these sort of fish swimming through the trees go swim in like large flocks like sardines, or large shoals like sardines. These like huge kind of enveloping spaces. They're not dangerous, but you can kind of get like in the middle of it, you can't see out from it.
Yeah.
There's a challenge and a danger and a potential danger to it, but they themselves are not violent or threatening.
It's like, have you ever seen like a murmuration of starlings?
Yeah.
Or like a school of like really shiny silvery fish will do the same
Exactly,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
like if
that
they're
kind of
scaly,
vibe.
you can see their path where they scrape the bark off a tree. And the only real danger is if you stand still, you're going to get hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm drawing some fish on the map,
Right.
or
Nice.
trying to.
Oh, God damn it. Keep
So
drawing
no
random lines.
landmark, no storm. So, how do you all like move through the world? I think that I'm almost like doing like cartoon spot, like a TF2 spy stuff, like moving from tree to tree, trying to be stealthy.
Yes, I think Serato is kind of similarly in a similarly cartoonish fashion. I think like looking around and just like constantly trying to take notes, but constantly tripping over things, and just like distracted by like that shoal of fish that swims by. Is like, oh, this is a new species. I've not seen this one before. Let me write this down. And yeah, is just I think overwhelmed with needing to document what he's encountering.
I'm so ready for all of this.
Yeah.
This is going to be great. All right.
So,
Matt, how does your character move through space?
So he is bipedal. Although mostly plant, he does move like a normal humanoid would.
This one has a central stalk in there, but has these kind of like a lion's mane mushroom or kind of a willow, these sort of dangling hairs things. Moves in some ways like if you ever seen like a nope, can't think of thing right now, but sort of glides as these along the ground slowly as these tendrils
Cilia.
move in.
Cilia,
Yeah, like cilia, exactly.
the mycelia have cilia?
Surely there's some etymological resonance there.
There's gotta be.
Yeah. We're so nerdy.
I love this. So, Matt, since you have the journal, it is your turn to make a discovery. So, choose a discovery prompt from either of your roll sheets and answer that question as you move through the region. How do you come to encounter your discovery? What do you learn about the region? How do you react to what you discover? And what do you share with the others?
So as we're walking along, Taraxo will reach out. I'm going to apologize. I did not write down people's names. So, Chris, what is your character name?
Serato, Cerato.
Okay. So Taraxo will reach out a hand onto Serato's shoulder, letting him act as a guide
Oh,
as
cool.
he starts to pluck a few seeds from his mane and just let them float into the air. And as you watch, their eyes shut and the seeds begin to sparkle and spread. And with each flash, like a little firefly moving through the trees, a little bit more of a picture comes into play. And during the continued movement, the question that I am answering is, what do you see that heralds a great change to come?
Ooh.
And as the seeds float along, wisping about in the breeze and moving with the branches as they ascend towards the forest ceiling, there comes a moment of free fall, but sideways, as they peek over the top of a couple of trees and pick up the wind that carries them far away and outside of the region. And as he forms the image within their head, Taraxis sees a path where the wind is breaking through with brute force, tearing down the forest from above.
Hmm.
Ooh.
Well, shit, make it easy for the rest of us to follow you. That's awesome. I love that.
Okay, so we maybe gotta move, like
Yeah.
find somewhere else to live.
That's the goal, right? Isn't it?
Yes. So
Yeah, I guess so.
one of my starting questions as a seer was, what warning did you receive? And Taraxa has been paying much more attention because the first warning was a new refuge will be needed.
Hmm.
All right. So do you like tell us this?
I think as the day passes, Serato would note
Hmm.
Taraxa's taking his hand back more and more to pluck more seeds. And usually it's a brief process where 5 or 6 go into the air and kind of maintain the area. Over the course of a couple hours as we're walking, he's probably thrown 30 seeds into the air, trying to quickly grasp whatever picture they can gather that the seeds are sharing before just mentioning that the wind is approaching and our safety is fleeting.
Hmm.
Oh boy.
All safety is fleeting.
So, as we continue to move through this region, I'm not thrilled about in character. I'm not thrilled about that. I'm like, I feel like we've all already lost so much. We have to protect what we have right now.
Hmm.
We the world we find ourselves in now is the result of us acting to protect what we had, what we have now, without thought or care for the future.
Hmm.
To protect the colony is to find, to make a home.
Hmm.
This is why we set out, is it not?
Hmm. Hmm. Yes, but perhaps it's also that we tried to, well, they tried to hold back inevitability. The wind is inevitability. This forest will fall, as all do eventually. We have to learn how to live with that. We have to learn how to move with these things.
Well, it's become staggeringly clear that we have to change. We can't just stand in the same place. We can't just build our fortresses and expect things to never change again.
Mm-hmm. Well, the strongest moots may be destroyed if the soil is too weak.
We need to
Washed
do some
away.
crop rotation.
We need more nitrogen fixers.
Yeah.
Beans.
Legumes.
Get the legumes. And you see, and I'm going to preface, this is no offense to Sean at all. I think you're doing a wonderful job. But you see Taraxa like shaking at like, are you done speaking? Are you done? Like, are we good? as one of the things that for folks who aren't in the live stream discussion, I made a backstory for my character, and they are yeah, they are from a species of people that live roughly 10 years. So
nice.
every moment is just like a snap. You got to go right now.
So, what do we think is the biggest challenge here? What is the largest obstacle that we have to overcome here? And we can flip a card on it. There's a table we can flip a card on if we need inspiration, but if we know what it is, we can just go with that.
Just to be clear, this is us moving through the space as explorers now, not the community being settled in this region, right?
Correct. This is us moving through the region as explorers.
Yeah, it was dense forest, impenetrable depths, a call to adventure, a fierce competition to survive. I mean,
can I offer that because the forest is densest at the center and weakest at the outskirts, the closer we get to the edge, the more susceptible we become to the wind.
Yes.
And if there are schools of fish flying around, it would throw them off to have sudden gusts of air that they're not familiar with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And not to mention us. We are venturing out from like our place of safety, which we kind of know culturally is like not something we're necessarily super comfortable with.
So the challenge then is navigating the creatures, or navigating, or dealing with the, perhaps dealing with the anxiety, the building anxiety of having to emerge into the wind eventually.
I mean, can we add also like the core element of this forest was sort of density tangle, right? We're not navigators, most of us. This is a space where we could easily, we have a direction that we are intending to head in, and we may emerge somewhere else as we try to fight off all of these elements and the winds and fish and we are separated from our view of the sky and the sun, and we may simply not know what side of this forest will emerge on.
So what is at stake sounds, I like that a lot. And I definitely think that what's at stake if something goes wrong is like we are like lost and disoriented. Like we end up taking a wrong turn. Maybe we end up losing time because it takes us longer to find our bearings. I think that makes a lot of sense. So each of us can go and describe how it is we can help try to overcome this challenge. And this is where our expertises become relevant, because if at least we're going to mark some stress based on how risky our approach to overcoming this challenge is. And if at least half of us are doing something relevant to one of our expertises, we mark one less stress. And then I will flip a card, and if it is less than or equal to the amount of stress we have marked, I'm going to mark stress at the top just using these barrels. If the card is less than or equal to the amount of stress we have marked, we will suffer a complication and clear some stress. Otherwise, we will continue, and the stress will continue to build until we do experience a complication. Let's see. So I'm definitely, as a tracker, I'm good at, I have an expertise moving through natural terrain without being seen or, this overflows awkwardly. Let me adjust this. Or leaving a trail. And I think that I'm not necessarily going to get us going in the right direction, but I am definitely able to avoid the fish, avoid being spotted by them, and possibly seen as something interesting for them to investigate. And so while I'm not necessarily like getting too far away from the group because I don't want to get lost, I definitely think I'm able to scout out some paths that might keep us clear of the dangers of encountering them directly.
So as a tracker, I have two expertises that I think would be relevant here. One is following guideposts in nature and the sky, and the other is finding safety and shelter in hostile terrain. So I think probably that first one, it's cliche, but there's that whole thing about moss grows on the north side of trees. Reading signs in the way that the vegetation has grown, reading what little I can of the light that filters down. I wonder if it's like you mentioned that kind of that ripple effect of like when light refracts through water as something that the leaves of the trees or whatever the forest here is made of. There is that effect here, and I wonder if reading how those patterns shift and move, kind of. So I picture Serato just kind of staring down, looking at these patterns, not otherwise looking where he's going, but following the patterns to kind of guide the party in the direction that we need to go.
Oh, you can see how the wind is moving through the trees based
Yeah.
on how it changes the patterns of light cast on
Yeah.
the forest floor.
Yeah.
I love that. That's cool.
Yeah, so nose to the ground.
Okay. Can I offer a support?
Absolutely.
So as a seer, I have expanding your senses to observe the invisible. So while Serato is watching the ground for the changes in light, I'm watching the wind itself so that it doesn't catch us before it shifts the branches above when we get to thinner areas.
Awesome.
I'm going to throw something out there as a slightly odd use of one of my expertises, or odd read of how it's written, and see if y'all feel like that's pushing it too far. Given that I'm a fungus person, and this is an old growth forest that we know are often connected through subterranean mycorrhizae, one of my expertises as a crafter is binding things together. What I would like to do in that case, or what this one will do, is reach into the soil, connect with its own colonies, and build a picture of the forest as a whole, as a unified, connected being, thing, network, to get us to at least get a sense for its boundaries, its borders, its challenges, right? It's bordered on the south by a river, a hard stop, on the east by a mesa. There are ways in which we could, or at least begin to get a sense for its wholeness.
I love that. That is so cool. I am all for oblique readings of anything in the game. I'm so here for it. Actually, no,
Yeah.
rules as written. Sorry, Matt, you were saying something?
No, you said rules as written. Unless that was just a
What happens
what
now?
are the rules as written?
Yes.
No, I was joking that's
Oh, you were rules lawyering. Okay.
Yeah, no, I got you though. So there are 3 different levels of stress that we can mark here. We could say that this action is safe, that it is risky, or that it is desperate. I don't think this sounds desperate to me. My default is usually to just say that stuff is risky. I don't think this sounds like super dangerous. We can also do like risky +1 or risky -1 or whatever. But we're all using an expertise. So I might just for expediency just call everything risky. And so that would normally mark 4 stress. However, because we all use an expertise, we only mark 3. So I'm going to put 3 barrels in the stress track up here. When I'm playing in person, I'll use like a stack of face down cards to track stress. And let's see if we encounter complications. So The severity of severity of complications depends on the value of the card that we flip. So an ace through 5 is a minor complication, a 6 through 9 is moderate, a 10 through king is severe. But minor complications clear less stress than moderate complications, which clear less stress than severe complications. So bigger complications mean you get them less often. Smaller ones, you might get them more often. So that is an ace. So we do suffer a minor complication. So that is going to clear our 4 stress, which is all of it that we have marked. And what do we learn as a result of the complication? So something has gone wrong. When we said at the beginning what was at stake was that we could end up going in the wrong direction, or taking too much time or getting lost. Like, what do we learn about the world as a result of this complication, or about this region?
Maybe we are going to the Mesa. Matt, go ahead.
I have a suggestion. Okay, so combining all of the things that we are watching, we essentially have a 3D model. And where initially Taraxa thought the wind was just taking out the treetops, working in tandem, we start to find that the wind is hollowing out trees from above as light begins to shine out from the bark, letting the breeze into spaces that we thought were safe.
That's scary. I'm scared. I didn't know it could do that.
What if there's something about this that maybe it's the presence of other trees or mycorrhizal networks, whatever you want it to be, that this is harder to do the denser the forest and the closer to the center of the forest you are. So at the edges, the trees are more easily hollowed out by this magic wind and shine from within, which is, I think, would be deeply upsetting for plant creatures, because normally you want sun, you want light, but this light indicates death in a way that is deeply wrong for us.
Yeah, it is expelling light rather than taking it in,
Mm-hmm.
So there is almost like a malice to that I didn't expect, like that's
but this is perfect. The world is shining like the edge of a knife was the phrase that we had from Sean at the world building last time.
Oh no. Oh, that's good. So I am like, because I was like trying to like use the trees as like cover to hide from whatever creatures might be around. Like when we encounter one of those, I think I am like, oh no, nowhere is safe. Like I can creep around in the underbrush or whatever, but it's like the safest place from the scary glowing like weird undead glowing trees is like out in the open, and I'm not really comfortable out in the open.
I mean, certainly neither would I would not be either. Yeah. There is a reason we picked a forest to as a source of safety here, right?
Yeah.
It's super interesting because like humans, like we like to have like wide open views so that we can see threats really far away. It's why we settle on hills. It's why we like grasslands and like lakes and like mountains and things like that, because we can see threats from farther away. And it's super interesting that like plant people be like, no, we like being among like inanimate plants because we can like blend in and camouflage there.
It's also demonstrable proof that the space is hospitable for plant life, right?
Exactly.
Forests, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
This place has been safe for a long time.
What if the thing we realize is that perhaps the safest place is the place the extreme risk that this presents to us perhaps is that the safest place might be the places that are most devoid of plant life.
So we have the opportunity to look ahead now. So just like we did before, I'm going to flip cards on the distant table, distance, the far view table, the one with the spyglass.
Mhm.
I gotta settle on if I want to actually change that name or not. So we're going to make 2 new regions adjacent to the one we're currently in. We have the Queen of Clubs, that is lake with small islands, points of light, hidden treasures, pools of isolation. We have the 4 of Diamonds, that is Amphitheater Valley, defensible location, shelter from the elements, focusing attention. And we have the 6 of Spades, which is the Veil, a border between one world and the next. Pass through to see what lies beyond and be transformed.
Can't do another portal.
Thinking
Or
with
can we?
portals.
We can do another portal. The veil can be as literal or as we can interpret. Well, any of these we can interpret as literally or as abstractly as we want.
What if instead of something magical, what if we encounter a region that's, and this could be a particular challenge for us as plant people, perpetually covered in a thick fog? What if that's the kind of veil we're
The
working with?
veil of mist, and the
Yes.
veil can be like a valley too.
Yeah, the VALE, yeah.
VALE.
Yeah, so we
We
could
have to-
combine the Vale and the Amphitheater Valley.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Pass through the mist.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one is a lake dotted with small islands. And
would also present
just
some
in the
interesting
interest of time,
Mm.
because I want to make sure we get to a landmark where we can find something interesting, I want to make some regions a little larger. I'm going to draw one because I haven't drawn one yet.
Yes.
I do like the idea of the veil a lot.
Same.
So I want to put
Also,
that like
how messed up would it be if we were going into a fog? So the whole thing is fog, but what if it's just smog from the oldest surviving world, the oldest
Oh,
surviving
no.
civilization?
It's just, well, we're in fucking London.
That's it. Yeah, we're dealing with like the last city that the remains of people are gone, but the damage they left behind isn't.
Deeply inimical to plant life. No, I hate that.
But fog's so thick that we can't see it or do anything about it.
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
And
So
we're back.
We're back.
Technical difficulties.
So I drew the veil to the north. The reason that I put it here because I'm imagining that we started out heading east because we were hoping we'd be able to go around it.
Yeah.
And then it is wider than we had thought. And so if we want to go north from here, we're going to have to go through it or keep going east, like southeast, like into the mesa to get around it, or like go back west and go through somewhere else. Who hasn't drawn one on the map yet?
yeah.
Sean, if you want to, I suppose the other one would be a lake with small islands. To put a lake with small islands on the map.
And do we want this to be bordering
So-
the forest region?
Yeah, adjacent to the region we're currently in.
We've got a random river.
Yes, we do.
We do have a random river. Yeah, the lake with small islands, points of light, hidden treasures, pools of isolation. Which points of light is menacing now.
Yeah. I also
You're
like
all welcome.
Oh no, it's the radiance.
the idea of a lake, like for a bunch of plant people, like
Terrifying.
yeah, well, like but terrifying, but also, we need water, like, but and presumably some of us can float. Um,
They all float down here.
Damn.
The
But yeah.
beaver.
Oh,
Beaver
yeah.
Oh,
So that's where the beavers are. Oh god.
okay. What if it's a messed up lake and it's salt water?
Oh.
Oh no.
Wait, how difficult do we want this to be before I start running my mouth again?
I mean, would it be difficult, or would it be just, we're gonna go to the fog then?
Yeah, no. Well,
That's-
because that's what I'm thinking is like if this is west of us, like of course we're gonna go east. We don't want to go near the saltwater
Yeah.
lake.
Anybody have any like mangroves in their their family tree? Super wild mangrove trees can like naturally filter salt out of water, so you'll get like super salinated water around mangrove swamps.
Indeed.
It's really cool shit.
They're super important ecologically as
I'm gonna
hurricane
write that
breaks,
down.
too.
Yeah.
And delicious.
Yeah. So our next scene is we also get to describe the view ahead of us, which I think is not very good
No.
because it's like we go through the fog or we go up that wall or we go like across the lake.
We're not going anywhere near a saltwater lake. Like that sounds terrifying.
It's scary. That's scary.
And I
So-
think maybe such things were incredibly rare in the old world, but now with the magic making everything more wild, such things are more common.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, I interrupted you. What were you saying?
Yeah. I was just going to start talking about the camping scene.
Oh.
So I don't want to move us on prematurely. I'm always like, all right, let's keep going to make sure we get to everything. But
Does
I don't want to stop people from doing cool like narrative stuff.
How does the fog filter into the forest? Does it come in, or is it just like a solid wall? Because it's magic. It can be either one.
Well, I think okay, we have the wind, yes, and we have the hollowed out zombie trees that emit light. I think that this fog is supernaturally resistant to being dispersed by the wind, and thus it makes sense that the trees stop and there is a brief stretch of barren ground and then the fog wall begins.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I have an alternative idea
Okay.
that I want to propose, which was just if we have the glowing trees, just that we see like pillars of light
Ooh.
in the fog.
Okay, yeah, I like that. That's awesome. Yeah.
Maybe there's not even trees anymore. There's just like
Light where a
Light.
tree once stood.
there's an Erd tree.
Yeah.
Oh, so what if, okay, playing on that, what if the fog can't hurt the trees, but once it was formed, the trees that died in there left it hollow? Like you could so like there's a wall for the fog,
Yeah.
and you could step into where a tree was, and
like
you just see a
Pompeii, like
wall
at
of fog
Pompeii.
around you.
Like with the
I have no
bodies.
idea.
Oh, so like when the pyroclastic flow at Pompeii swept over the town, basically it just burned all the bodies up, and so when they discovered it, what they ended up doing is pouring plaster into the
'cause there were
hollows where
Yes.
the bodies were. Yeah.
Yes,
Um,
that, but trees.
Yeah. I have a suggestion for the lake as well.
Mm.
Are you familiar with the ghost forests in the Pacific Northwest, where there was some seismic events, and they're basically it's like a couple feet of salt water in essentially just a dead forest.
Mhm.
Oh geez.
So I want this to be an extension of the forest, but
Oh.
no leaves, no, like it is in every way like death symbolize to us?
Why is this turning into a horror game?
That's scary. I mean, it is
Because-
kind of post-apocalyptic.
Yeah,
we did
no, I mean-
discuss that last time.
Because plants are fragile.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
true.
So
If one of us had decided to be a fiddle leaf fern, we would have died 100 times by now.
It's true.
hey, we can dive into. We did the disclaimer. We can talk about fern reproduction.
No, no.
It's
sorry,
weird.
a fiddle leaf fig. I meant sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, fern life cycles very strange. They alternate between haploid and diploid with each generation. So you'll get a haploid fern that releases spores, and then the spores grow a diploid little bud thing that will fertilize and like grow another haploid. It's super weird. They have like alternating generations.
Huh.
Really, really strange.
Oh, fun fact, it was
I
the
might have gotten that
Victorian
backwards.
obsession with ferns that led to the development of multiple technologies that well, it was a central feature of British colonialism and multiple technologies that made World War I possible.
Huh.
Ferns.
On that note.
I feel like I'm learning so much.
So we camping or what?
Yeah.
Kvasir in chat is suggesting flying anglerfish in the fog. It's
Oh my god.
anybody played
Giving
Outer Wilds?
Outer Wilds, yeah.
That is a I believe a college friend of mine in chat, actually. So the explorers begin to tire and night begins to fall. We must find a place to make camp. The environment may be far from ideal, and we may end up very exposed, or we may find excellent shelter. Describe your campsite. What natural features help or hinder us as we set up camp? How do we each contribute? And what have we learned about the journey from? What have we learned about the world from the journey so far? And during this scene, Matt, because you have the journal, you will get to choose another explorer to form a memory and connection with. So we will flip 3 cards from the deck and use those to form. Use one of them to choose a memory that you share, and one of them to choose a connection that you share. But for now, where are we making camp?
I honestly think the spot where our little token is the best one here. It's a little kind of outcropping of forest, surrounded by fog, but it still provides a measure of safety.
Yeah. As
Yeah.
far north as we can get without entering into the Vale.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's spooky.
Yeah. I'd like to think that one thing that does persist from the old world is instead of a fire, we have
Rave glow sticks.
Nice.
functionally, yes, basically like a little orb that glows with sunlight. That is, something that gives warmth and light in a way that a plant would find comforting, right? And these enchanted objects remain scattered about, but like they're rare. Maybe that's the reason that we're an exploring team, is because we managed to grab hold or get hold of one of these things.
What if part of the reason we kind of have them, or that they survived in some form, is because they were built to mimic a natural bioluminescence?
The idea from chat from Quarter Adjacent, maybe we have a tiny portal to actual sunlight.
That feels like
also quite good.
Just like death laser, but in sweet terms.
The sun is a deadly laser. We have learned this over the last couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just some kid with a magnifying glass on the other side of the portal.
Bioluminescent, like glowworms or fireflies, or like bioluminescent fungus is also very fun.
But yeah, what if it's not what if it's not natural, but was built to mimic that kind of light? So it feels very comforting and warming to us because it feels very familiar, even though it remains a kind of relic of that's how we are able to bridge the gap of not wanting to engage with the old world, but still utilizing this technology.
I like that. We have like a light bulb.
We have a lot of fireflies around here. I liked, although I don't know if fireflies eat plants. If they do, then maybe it's not firefly death, because I feel like that would be pursuant to our conversation last time about bugs. As we all
Just
get.
reminding me
they
that
do
I need
not
to
eat
play
plants.
one shot.
No,
Okay.
they eat like mosquitoes and I want to say like snails.
Yeah, they hunt slugs, snails, worms, and other insect larvae.
Oh, hell yeah. Especially if they hunt
Also-
snails and slugs, great.
All I can picture is like
yeah.
the lantern from James and the Giant Peach stuffed with glowworms.
I think that when we set camp, like I like stretch myself out, like either in like a gap between trees or like in a circle around camp, because like I am thorny brambles.
Mm,
I think I am a protective barrier around the rest of you.
amazing. I think Serato has what is effectively a reading lamp that is maybe a smaller version of the camping thing, like some relic that he found in a ruin that is like a little like, yeah, firefly kind of analog on, like, that he has on a headband so that he can, like, continue to write and log what's happened and continue to study. So yeah, that's what he's doing.
Sean?
Um, I don't know. I think what we would do is using the kind of size and spread of our body, fill up, settle in like a wall, fill up a sort of open space in the trees as another kind of barrier.
Mm.
And then sort of shuffle and settle into the dirt to connect back with the soil and the the microbiomes down there. I'm thinking here through the pilgrim role and trying to end the sort of separatedness that we've been feeling, that this one's been feeling, to try to reclaim or feel or approximate some kind of connectedness to the environment around us.
Oh yeah.
Digging deep a little. So, Matt, who would you like to bond with as we are making camp?
So I think it's going to be Serato because I do have notes on my character sheet for that.
Mm.
All right. So I am going to, so on the quick reference thing, this would be the memories and connections table, which is one of the ones that has a title. It also has a campfire icon in the corner. So I'm going to flip 3 cards, use one of those cards to choose a memory, and one of those cards to choose a connection, and
Okay.
answer the relevant questions. So our cards are the 3 of clubs. So it's a 3, which is similar upbringing or caretaker. So either you had a similar upbringing, but it shaped your worldview in different ways, or you cared for a pet or wild animal together. For the connection. An ace, which is close family, or a journey, which is you traveled somewhere together. And a 2, which is friendly rivals, or crime. You committed a crime together. So we have 1, 2, and 3, basically. So use one of those to choose a memory and one of those to choose a connection.
Okay. So yeah, first off, be gay, do crime. So
Yeah,
we're
obviously.
doing crime.
We love it.
And then I think it's
Absolutely.
going to be close family in a non-traditional sense.
Okay. Here for it.
Does that Sean? Wait, Serato is Chris.
Chris.
Yes.
Chris, does that work for you?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Awesome.
I'm curious to find out what our crime is.
Yeah. So for
Tax fraud.
Crime, it's you committed a crime together. What did you do and why was it justified? And close
Ooh.
family, you have how do you look out for one another? How do you get on one another's nerves? And
Okay.
then the sort of broader question, what do you do in camp that shows this connection that you share?
So as everyone is kind of setting up camp, you see Taraxa moving around. And as much as we are all exploring together, they consistently place themselves so that their back is only ever to Serato, because it's the only person that has had their back in the past. And it's also this tight-knit feeling where whatever they are working on separately, they almost always end up pushing what they're working on together or completing a task to help the other finish theirs.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it is Taraxa watching to see what Serato does, because one of the things that only Serato knows about my character, generally the Gowan only live for 10 years. I have known Serato for most of their life, which far exceeds that 10-year time span. And despite this, and despite knowing what that means in terms of my people, they don't tell anyone else, and usually make excuses about how I came to be or why I'm in the area or who I am even. So one of the crimes that we committed and why it was justified was a consistent forgery of identity. Because
yes.
Taraxa is just another name that I have acquired over the years, changing everything about me so that I exist within whatever form of government or citizenship there is, while being wholly the same person I was however many years ago.
I love this because I think Serato would use all of his knowledge and kind of history and customs and different civilizations to find the most appropriate means of, an identity to disguise you with, or to forge, to make it as believable as possible, to constantly be part of the reason that he seeks to learn so much is to protect Taraxa, in terms of finding ways for Taraxa to fit into whatever this new place we find ourselves is. Because Serato is cycads are very, very long-lived plants. So yeah, I like that. And so what it's the crime is then our memory.
It's identity fraud.
Yeah, the crime is identity fraud.
Yeah.
But that's why Taraxa watches so close, because Serato knows how to behave around others in a way that I don't necessarily have that knowledge.
Yeah.
You're kind of like a little out of time in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
cool.
interesting.
I like
How do you
this.
get on each other's nerves?
I think it's maybe well, I know, Matt, why don't you go ahead?
I mean, my instant thing is impatience.
Yes.
It's hard to change like the genetics of a short-lived species. Everything is now.
Yeah.
Which is why like Serato will sometimes trip Taraxa when they're like, oh my God, like why aren't we moving? Why is this meal taking 22 minutes?
Yeah. Yes, that's what I was going to go for too. Is just like different speeds at which they do things, and Serato just being like, "It's fine, calm down. We're going to make it work."
Love this.
Yeah, and I wonder,
I
like,
need that influence in my life, I think.
Same.
yes, a certain well, and I think there's something nice about like Serato maybe having a kind of grounding influence on Taraxa, but Taraxa being the person that makes sure that Serato makes it through things, right? Because otherwise he would move too slow and be caught in some problem. Yeah, I love this.
All right. Chris, now you now have the journal. So
Okay.
in the next region, you would be making a discovery. I'm going to do
Okay.
a quick time check because we are at
Yes.
9:30. And we were originally scheduled for an hour and a half, and that's an hour and a half.
I mean, I'm fine to keep going.
I'm good,
I'm good to keep
but
going.
I know it's late for some folks.
Yeah.
Let's take a short break and maybe
Yeah.
we do one more loop.
Sure thing.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
should be a lot faster because now we know what to expect. One question is, I could just extend the veil so that we have a landmark in it, so that we get
I
the
mean,
landmark.
you did when you said
prompts.
you were going to draw it, you did say I want us to encounter a landmark. So yeah, I think just do that.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do one more loop. That sounds good.
Awesome. Take a short break so I can refill my water.
Perfect. See y'all in a minute. All right. Hello.
And
Hello.
we're back.
We did it.
We did it. What are we doing now? We camped.
Yes. So now we are deciding which way we want to travel. It sounded from our prior conversation like we are heading north into the Vale.
I think
So
so.
I will move our token. I'm going to move it to the front. Although it's kind of cool to have it behind it, it is inconvenient. Oh, I'm also going to put I'm going to draw a little campfire.
I think you mean a little glowworm lamp.
A little glowworm,
That's right.
yeah. I drew a little glowworm, right? Because we're not doing. So we're going to flip for the weather. So that is a joker, which has a value of 0. So the weather is actually staying quite nice, quite mild. As we
How is there a fireball on the screen?
It's the campfire.
I see.
experimenting. Oh, can we get the roll 20 back on the stream? Or I guess since we're going into the exploration scene, we can do the. We are going to do details again.
Campfire.
So I'm going to flip 2 cards on the detail table. So the first one is the 6 of diamonds. Fruit-bearing trees, a gift from the earth, to eat, to share, to spread. Or the Queen of Spades. Quicksand. The earth pulls you down into its crushing embrace, a gentle and inexorable trap. So,
Good thing we talked about plant reproduction and sexual content.
yeah.
This fruit.
Well, listen, these
As
are
you're saying,
inanimate
our plants are
trees.
getting the suck.
Look. Let me just say this. Remember, it is now a well-documented thing that all millennials were spent an inordinate amount of time as children being told about quicksand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry about it. We all grew up thinking quicksand was going to be a significant problem in our lives.
Yeah.
It was
Especially all
everywhere
coming out
as a
of it.
kid.
Mm-hmm. So yes, quicksand it is.
That's
like,
also great because we can't see it in the fog.
yep, it tracks absolutely with like
What-
this
and we also-
terrifying fog place we found.
Yeah.
So I kind of am imagining I have like a vision of how Allbloom moves that is almost like pouring water. It's like a slinky in a way, or like pouring water from one cup into another, where it's like all bunched up in one place and stretches out to a new place, and then sort of like zhoops a bunch of thorny brambles and like transfers to a new spot and stops, and then stretches out to a new spot and like
Like those,
transfers everything over.
Like those like worm things in Super Mario.
Yeah, exactly
Yeah.
like the it's not the wigglers, but yeah, no, I know
Yeah.
exactly like that. And I think that like as we're moving through, there's a degree to which that first like tendril is like very tenuous, kind of stretching out and like trying to find somewhere safe to like take root and like grip onto to pull the rest over. And I am definitely like, I think keeping relatively quiet. And I think that I don't think I'm like a very vocal person. But I think to the degree that I have like body language, there's a degree to which like, there's a degree to which the amount of caution that I'm showing, like as I move, is like very, very, like maybe even overly cautious, kind of betraying like a much greater degree of fear leading into this than when we first started out, just based on what we've seen and encountered already.
I think Serato. I'm looking at my expertise as kind of just inspiration here, and one is extrapolating events from mythical narratives and something. I can't read what that says. But anyway, something about there's something about fog and quicksand as these kind of amorphous things that are vaguely or not so vaguely menacing. That there is something here that that gives a sense of we should not be here, or there is something forbidden here.
Yeah, literally everything about this feels like we
Yeah.
shouldn't be here.
Yeah, but like this is, it's not just like in the literal sense of we shouldn't be here because we're gonna die, but in the sense of like mythically
Some force is trying to keep us out.
Yes, essentially we should not be here. But then also finding safety and shelter in hostile terrain because he's a traveler. I think that maybe like I've pictured Serato as more of a kind of humanoid shape like Taraxa, but with kind of a very like barky, like craggy sorts of features. But I also think that maybe the Serato walks on kind of like the base of a cycad is kind of like these like cone things, and so it's like not quite feet, but like kind of almost like pads. But that there's roots, small roots that could reach down from those pads and kind of sense vibrations, and that's the way that Serato knows where the quicksand is and where it's not, is the kind of differences in vibrations. And so Serato just kind of is threading a path, following after Nathan, your character whose name I forget, to find Albloom. Yeah.
So I realized this region also has a landmark now. So we have an additional thing to do. Since this landmark hasn't been defined, we draw a card on the landmark table and define it now. So this region, that is a 5. So this region has an artifact in it, an object of mysterious power, a piece of lost technology or magic. What is its purpose and how does it alter the world around it?
It turns things amorphous.
It's a
it makes
1989 Mazda Miata.
Perfect.
A mysterious artifact.
Well, I mean, what if it is something? I mean, because this was the sort of smog angle you had, Matt. What if it is something like part of say like an automated factory of some kind that is just not producing anything, but is just sort of churning into itself and bellowing out this smoky smog of some kind.
Okay, so what if it is a train with one of those bore things on the front that they used to drill out mountains, except it's underground and causing the quicksand?
Ooh,
oh, it's like undermining this area.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. And is this like, we're thinking like, maybe the reason it's still going is because it's powered by some sort of, magical energy power source, something that it didn't get destroyed, or its magic didn't get released somehow into the wind. Or maybe that's something about the nature of this valley, is that because the wind, like the fog, cannot be dispersed by the wind. I don't know. Something about that has prevented this thing from being destroyed or otherwise failing.
Or what if this was originally, what if this was something that fell, got buried in the early moments of the catastrophe, and continued to a relic of the fallen cities that continues to churn itself along in a slow arcing circle.
Oh,
yes.
ooh. So this
like they
is
have on
like
space stations.
I'm imagining like there was a city here, and this was like like under the foundations of that city, and that city is now gone. And this was something that was part of like the understructure infrastructure of that city.
It's Subway.
Yeah, it's the subway. We found the subway.
Oh God.
And
Does it
now we
tell
can
us to
buy
eat fresh?
sandwiches. Yeah. I had this mental image of like pool of quicksand like collapsing and like cloud of steam bursting out of that. But I don't know, like I'm trying to connect the dots here because I like that idea. I like this idea that there's some automated system stuck in a loop that is somehow creating both the fog and the quicksand.
What
It's
if the fog, what if part of what we realize upon entering here, because none of us ever have before, is this fog is not fog, but is sand that has been dispersed into the air and like kind of sort of somehow magically or
it's like
just
dust.
statically. Yeah, right. So what if this is
Yeah.
there is a kind of moving plume of exhaust that is just shooting sand into the space around it, but whatever magic that's keeping that thing churning is also keeping it suspended in the air.
So
Yeah.
the one of the ways there's kind of two ways you can get quicksand. One of them is like water, like a suspension of like sand particles in water. The other way is air
Mhm.
in fine particles. And that's actually like even scarier because it's much faster. Like you can just fall straight through it if you like bubble air through sand. And I'm imagining this like very, very fine, like silt, like powder that is like suspended in the air. But there's also like areas where like there are like holes in the bedrock that have filled in with this like
Yeah.
silt that is sort of filtering back down through into some underground structure that is like tossing it back into the air.
Well, I also love this because as plants, presumably we don't have to breathe through lungs in the same way that mammals do. So like, we silt in the air is not necessarily a problem.
But a aerated earth is.
Yes.
And if in the forest we had turned sunlight against us, here we're turning the very earth itself against us.
Amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I think that like it's pretty easy to imagine what the challenge might be, but we do have another step before that, which is the discovery scene. So Chris,
Oh, yes.
Serato has the opportunity to make a discovery. And because we have a landmark here, you can choose to make your discovery related to the landmark as well, and think about like what does your or say like what does your discovery tell you about the landmark? What does the landmark tell you about your discovery? How are they connected, and so on.
So my landmark discovery prompt that I have is what stands out above the rest and is visible from afar?
Oh, that makes me realize I should probably change the name of that because that is not
Oh.
necessarily specifically tied to landmarks in game.
Oh. Oh, okay.
You can use
Yeah,
any
yeah.
of your discovery prompts. I
I
should change
see.
the name of that so that that is less confusing.
Okay. In that case, well, yeah, I was looking at the other ones too. I also really like this one. How does the world around you react to your passage? Um,
Hmm.
and I think, oh, in this sense of we are not supposed to be here. I just have this image of like magnetic repulsion, like we somehow our vitality um pushes back the whatever is
Ooh.
this silt, this magically suspended pollution, or this relic of the old world, that somehow we are bringing something beneficial here that is opposed to whatever is happening. Um,
It's like if you've ever like had like pepper or something float. There's
right.
like an experiment you do, and you stick your finger in the
Yeah.
water, and it like spreads out.
Mhm. Yeah.
This connects back to something we talked about previously, which were like holes in the fog where there
Yeah.
used to be trees
Yeah.
is really interesting.
Mm,
These like,
What if it's hydrophobic?
uh,
oh,
I don't know. Like I want. To me, there's something interesting about the space where the trees were, like having those spaces still being there. And to me, there's something about the life that used to be there that is preventing whatever this is, or is countering whatever this is. And that same kind of life that we embody is somehow analogous. That these echoes of these lost plants, and maybe it is just that there is some amount of water there or something like that. But I don't know. I have this thing in my mind about like vitality and life force, and this, whatever this thing is that's causing this fog in this valley, is somehow opposed to that.
What if it's like the magical version of Roundup?
huh.
Oh, because what if it's some sort of like weapon of mass destruction, like genocide machine or something that the old civilization had?
Or, but I mean, what if what if it would not have been for that world, but for a world like I suggest
Mm,
Roundup as a joke, but like for a world that is where life is entirely plant based, it has become it.
mhm.
Like it sounds silly, but like
Yeah,
if it were like
Right.
just an automated weed like weed killer dispenser.
Because we talked
yeah,
about how like magic used to be tamed and
right.
now it is wild. And this is sort of a remnant of like now we're kind of this is like a remnant of the hidden cost of keeping magic like locked down and under control, keeping the weeds from taking root.
Yeah.
Or potentially like it could be the thing in us that keeps that repels this could be the like spark of that wild magic that led to the development of the animation
Ah,
of the
Mm.
plants, the little spark in living creatures that of the untamed magic that is necessary for life's existence, right? So the trees, the whatever it is, us itself, the remnant magic, the control here is strong enough to keep the wind itself, but when it's embodied in
mm,
something
yeah.
that
Oh
moves,
no,
something that has thought and intentionality, it
we're about
doesn't.
to touch on some themes because by trying to tame and control magic, we were suppressing the spark of life that animated us and our passions to, move
Mm,
out beyond the spot where we were rooted, and like in that way, trying to keep the magic so tightly under control was like self-destructive to the very essence of our lives, and
mm,
like unleashing, literally speaking, the magic has kind of like, in a way, reawakened that spark in us, both on a spiritual level and also because it has forced us to change and to explore
mm,
and to like move again.
Yeah, what uh perhaps sort of contemplation of this region and its relationship to us could reveal is that it is the extent to which we ourselves are changing and already changed as a
mhm,
result of the processes that we're seeing around us.
mhm,
Because it's so tempting for us as folks who had been transported here from the old world to imagine that we are consistent or stable,
mhm,
are still a product of it. But you can't touch a thing like this without being um, touched back.
mhm.
Consensually.
Of course.
Yes, of course.
I'm just laughing at Planet of the Grapes from the chat from Crypto
Hey,
Psychologist. Very, very good.
God damn it, Elizabeth.
I'm just glad we didn't go with the fruit trees this in that case.
Yeah. Uh, Well, okay, it is getting on towards 10.
My head is just doing Planet of the Grapes to the tune of Benny and the Jets now. I
Nice.
can't control that.
Yeah.
So I think my like idea for the challenge is just like in this region is just trying to avoid getting buried or
Yeah.
like sinking into the earth here.
Yeah, the challenge is quicksand.
Yeah, the challenge is quicksand. This sand do be quick.
Mhm.
Yes, very quicksand.
Okay, well, everybody brought up something that makes what Taraxa would like to do slightly detrimental to everyone.
Uh-oh.
Go on.
Oh boy.
Are we discussing strengths and weaknesses at this point?
Yeah.
So Taraxa would like to deploy magical spells to protect us, which is part of what Serato helps keep in check, since it is destructive to us, but to tether us all together so that if somebody starts to go under, they have 3 others to rely on.
Mm.
Magic rope. This one has an expertise in bridging gaps, and what I would like to do here is you watch as this fungal entity that has been traveling with you, like cilia tendrils, lowers itself onto the ground and spreads like a carpet, distributing its weight in a much wider area, and such that you can travel on their back.
Mm.
I like that. I honestly think a lot of what I'm doing is just very much along the lines of what I described like during the exploration scene, just like very carefully probing for stuff. Like I do have a relevant expertise, which is laying traps and avoiding traps and pitfalls. Which is
Literally.
very, very straightforward. I'm almost like I want to do something different because that's very, very on the nose. I think to some extent, like a lot of what I'm doing here is just like I am volunteering to go first. I am volunteering to like be the one who like goes out on a limb, so to speak. I think in
Hey.
part because I'm kind of like stretchy. And so like if I start sinking, like the front part of me starts sinking, you can grab the back part and haul me back in. And maybe that'll suck because I'm spiky, but like um I think that that's kind of how I see myself is like it's almost a little like self-sacrificing because even though this is an environment where I am very uncomfortable, I think that doesn't stop me from going first and being the first one to be like, no, you all would sink, you bipedal folks, you with your like one big stump. I'm a bunch of like vines with like a mask in it, you know. So it's much easier for me to like pull back if I start sinking. So let me go first.
Yeah, I think I already mentioned mine, which is finding safety and shelter in hostile terrain, which again is also kind of on the nose. But I mean, it makes sense here. So yeah, I think maybe in tandem with you them mushroom person.
Yes, they plural.
We they plural. So yes, with they, I would be, I think, doing this kind of testing the vibrations of where the dangerous parts are, and in the event of it being nothing but quicksand in front of us, I would then ride on their self across the kind of the dangerous parts.
Mushroom head.
Yeah.
Oh no. I had something pop into my head that I will resist saying.
But why?
And I know saying that, I realize now that saying that doesn't help because now I'm telling you like I thought of a joke that I'm not going to tell you. So now I have to say it. It's a magic carpet ride.
Hey.
Hey.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
So this does not sound safe to me. Do we think it sounds risky or desperate?
I think it sounds kind of desperate, honestly.
It sounds scary
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. So desperate normally is 6, but because we have used plenty of expertises in describing how we overcome it, we mark 1 less, so we only mark 5.
Oh, it's only 5. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, it's not. Remember, it's not 5 out of 10. It's 5 out of 13. So it's slightly better, right? Because there's face cards as well. Face cards have a value of 10. And let's see if we suffer complications. We do not. That is a 6. Very near miss.
Barely. Yeah.
Barely managed to avoid suffering further complications as we travel through this region. We have the opportunity. We make it through the veil and look ahead to see what lies beyond. So let's get some new regions and see what lies beyond, and then do one last camping scene before we call it a night. So for new regions, we have and this is on the far view table with the spyglass. We have the Jack of Hearts, which is floodplain, the end of a path of ages.
Shut the fuck
Deposit
up.
the wealth of a wandering journey. We have the 7 of Hearts, rolling fields, gentle and graceful, the bounty of grass, lose sight of yourself in the
Ooh,
distance.
Also good.
And we have the 2 of Hearts, all hearts, tree-dotted savanna, the interconnection of all that lives in a delicate dance of sun and earth.
Oh, these are also good.
What I
So
would
you can use 2 of these to make new regions adjacent to the region we are currently in.
what I would like, I think, built off some of the conversation we had in the forest, and even here thinking about what this space is, I would think it would be really interesting where whether the outpost we were heading to were the sole tall structure in a otherwise level was it grassland?
Yeah,
Or floodplain.
we had
sorry, yes, an
tree-dotted
otherwise
savanna, rolling fields, and floodplain.
yes, an otherwise kind of level and sort of almost barren floodplain. The thing that presents to us the brightest possibility of safety is indeed in a space that is so distant from what we imagine safety to be.
Yes.
Mhm.
Oh, I love that. I also think just the sentence, the phrase, the end of a path of ages goes so fucking hard. That's so good.
Yeah. Especially for the outposts to be there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think like the rolling fields thing is giving kind of Elysian fields.
Mm.
But I also both. What's interesting is both like the floodplain, the end of Path Ages. It's so bleak, yet also precisely perhaps what we need if we are to survive in this place. But then the other two, to us as human players, or to me at least, seem so kind of positive and remind me of just the verdant, the kind of like explosion of life. And having those things in kind of juxtaposition is really interesting.
And the other thing though, I mean, floodplains are among the most
Mm-hmm.
True.
I know I don't want to say this word because chat is who they are.
Just say it.
Very
is
silty.
among the most among the most fertile places for agriculture, right? It's pure potential,
Yeah.
but untested and unproven.
Yes. This is great. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
I think rolling. I don't know. Maybe there is this floodplain, and then beyond it are the rolling hills.
I mean, it would. What I mean, what if it were like, that's why it's a floodplain, right? It's this sort of ring of hills,
Yeah.
or this like arc of hills that flows down into this sort of empty, right? So all of the rain and drainage fills this space, at the center of which is this something.
An aquifer.
Okay, here I've got an idea for drawing.
I like this a lot. This feels super, super
Oh
thematic.
shit! What did I just do? I don't know how this works. Oh wait, that has to be that. Okay, there we go. I almost want this to. Well, no, I guess it can't really be fully enclosed, can it? Something like that, maybe.
Is that the hills or the flood?
Those are the hills. The floodplain would be in the middle there.
I like that.
Yeah, and then like perhaps leading to some kind of river that heads toward,
A river
no,
that's not salty.
Yeah, exactly. That maybe flows through this, and then somehow something about the valley.
I mean, what if this is the source of the river, and right now it may be dry.
Yeah.
A seasonal river, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also imagining, like, if we're talking about like very fine dust or powder, like river silt is that.
True.
So as we're sort of looking out at this view, kind of like
It actually also
emerging
could
on the very edge of the fog, I think this is like the farthest we've been able to see on like the whole journey.
Yeah.
Maybe like ever?
given how he drew that veil, yeah.
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 Yeah, and we're all from sunken places that have now been made high.
I mean, maybe this may well be the first sense we get of the world being truly vast.
Yeah. I love that we're just replicating your cover art.
Listen, there's a reason that that's what the art is.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
If you ever want to look at a cool painting, The Wanderer Above the Sea of Fog.
Oh yeah,
it's up there in my favorites. However, as we reach this point, the day is starting to draw late, and night is beginning to fall, and we make camp. And also, how does the landmark help or hinder us as we make camp at or near it?
The landmark was the machine that was bellowing out all the silt, right?
Yeah.
I think one thing it might do is force us to press on a little further and longer than we would hope into the hills and out of cover and safety into open grasslands, because the only other option is staying in this dark, dangerous, where the ground is uncertain at all times space.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense to me. And also, like, that's, I think, part of why we would be able to, like, see a little farther as well. So, in the interest of time, and because I really want to make this happen, Chris,
yes,
you get to choose another explorer that you don't already have a relationship with to form a memory and connection with, which would be the individual mushroom person, or myself as Album.
I think let's do the OTG thing. Let's see what.
Perfect.
Yes,
I've played this game plenty of times. Let's get you all to get a chance. So, looking at memories and connections, we have an ace again, so that's close family or a journey. We have a king, which is mentor and student or creation. You created something wonderful together. And a jack, romantic or platonic life partners, or reconciliation. Your relationship was tested, but you've reconciled.
Mm, yes. So I think that Serato is a scholar, someone who wants to learn more, to understand different ways of life and being in the world, in part because of his relationship to Taraxa. And so I think the opportunity to travel with a kind of, or to travel with them, this entity that is unfamiliar to kind of Serato and but in other ways not unfamiliar in terms of perhaps the kind of, I just get the sense that as a kind of mycorrhizal entity that maybe they have been around for a long time. And so there is some kind of connection there. And so I do think that there is a kind of mentor and student relationship where Serato is trying to learn all he can from they and their kind of cryptic pronouncements, but also to understand how they see the world, and but then also perhaps maybe to, as because it's always a two-way street with students and teachers, right? To give them a sense of here's what it is to be an individual, perhaps.
Mhm.
And so maybe then that is the reconciliation, but that like this relationship was tested because their way of seeing the world or being in the world was so very different that initially they weren't even sure how to communicate with each other, or how to, have a shared understanding or language. But and so like they were quite distant perhaps before, but then what brought them together was, I think precisely the need to go on this journey and to realize that, they are both changing just in different ways. And that change, they can help each other through that change because of how different they are. Yeah. So the reconciliation is the memory, and the mentor and student is the connection.
I like
And
that
I
a
will
lot.
say, like, you can choose these together. So Sean,
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
No,
yeah, yeah.
I like that a lot. One of the things that I had written down last week was that part of what the Myconid colony had been building, had been trying to change in themselves, was to alter their understanding of what the colony is and who and what is included in that.
Mm,
This one in part was elected to, was chosen to go out into this mission because they were a core part of making those connections and helping to the whole, the hive, the collective, to understand that the colony has to be more than just the what it was before, but has to embrace the community, the collective that we've all built, or we had all built on the edges of that forest. I think the relationship, the travel, the relationship with Serato was what what we wanted to get out of it was not only an understanding of what it means to be an individual, but what it means for individuals to choose to come together as a whole, and
mhm,
what it means to be able to relate to things that you are not inherently bound with. So what does it mean to choose connection, to choose
mhm,
relationships, to choose family? And then I think part of that distance was, this was quite a long time ago,
mm,
and it was the entity that is traveling with you, though they don't have a clear or well-defined sense of individuality, it is far clearer and well-defined and far more expressive than it was prior. So perhaps
mm,
Serato felt or experienced it the whole time as if they were interacting with a collective. And it's only in the going in, as prepping for this journey, that from time to time this one would share memories of that, like
mm,
individual memories of the things they did in ways that revealed to them, to Serato, that no, this is the creature, the
Mhm.
person that I
Yeah.
had spent that time with before. It is not simply a limb of a larger thing, but there is an individuality and a discrete sense to it that even, but also Serato would recognize that that is something that is emergent, that they're trying to
Yeah.
learn, trying to figure out.
Hmm. Awesome.
Also relatable, you know. I actually have a question, Sean. I have this idea that like when you are like with the collective, it almost feels like it's such. I guess it's not a question. I have a statement. I have an idea that like the connection with the collective was like so close and so intimate that you uh, hadn't really experienced like conflict in a relationship before and didn't really know how to handle that necessarily and kind of had to learn like, oh, the relationship can be tested and come back stronger and we don't have to necessarily agree on everything. We just need to like work things out between us because we are not one being. We
Right.
don't have to perfectly be in accord.
And learned it both from the work and conversations with Serato, but also observation of Serato and Tarax's relationship, right? This very
Hmm.
strong bond that is often built out of a clash of
Hmm.
personality and type.
Yeah.
Totally.
So I'm going to give us some epilogue questions. Just you can think about these or answer whatever you want. Um, just thinking about like, did you find what you were searching for and was it what you hoped? Have your goals or what you're searching for changed over the course of the journey? How has the journey changed the way you see yourself, the world, or the other explorers? Or what has made a place you encountered special to you?
Hmm.
Yeah, shit's way scarier than we thought it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
The world is way less stable and way and far more frightening than we could have
Mm.
ever imagined. I think far more hostile to. I think maybe as plant folks, we imagine in some ways a deep kind of attunement with the world that is absolutely no longer the case in the world that we have
Mm.
found now.
Yeah.
yeah. I think I imagined that the world was in one state and then there was a change and now it's in another state. And I think I'm coming to understand now that the natural state of the world is to change and
Mm.
it's not it didn't move from one state to the other and now it's stable again. It is like it was never stable and we need to learn to live in a world that will continue to change around us.
Mm.
Yeah. It reminds me of one of my favorite tweets of all time. And it's me, colon, is the natural state of the soul quiet or chaos? Taco Bell cashier, look, buddy, it's transient, shifting like water.
I mean, what more is there to say?
Yeah. I think that brings us to the end of our journey as I think we found a place to settle the community if we can manage to get everybody safely through the veil.
Although we yet don't know what precisely this outpost is.
No,
Um,
we
but
don't.
for next time. Um,
Maybe.
but no, so maybe just quickly we should do stars, wishes, and sparkles. So stars, the things you liked, wishes you would want to for a theoretical next time or just in general, and then sparkles are something you did yourself that you enjoyed. Um, hmm.
I think for wishes, one of the things that as much as I love this game, one of the things that I often struggle with is that I wish it were faster to move through the world.
Mm.
I wish it were easier to cover more ground in a shorter amount of time and fill in more of the map. But every single thing that we do as part of the game is something that I love so much that it's so hard to let go of any of it.
I
So
think that just
there is a tension that I feel there.
mm.
But for like stars, I absolutely love the way that so much of what we created was combining ideas from multiple people, and saying like I think there's something that I picked up from the podcast All My Fantasy Children is that idea of why not both. And amazing podcast if you don't listen to it. And I think that that's something that like really, really shines in the way that y'all like play these games together. It feels so collaborative. It's amazing. I love playing this game with y'all.
I think stars. Yeah, Nathan, this game is awesome. And so cool. And like but I think the thing that you were having as a wish, like frankly, I think that's a strength of it, right? That you are
Mhm.
encouraged to spend time describing and thinking and sitting with this, like, what is it to make a world, right? Like we talk about world building a lot, right? As just a thing that we do, but I mean, when you really start to think about the complexity of all that is, right? Like, how can you possibly try and rush through that? So I
Yeah.
think
And
that
it is
this,
also in theme to still have blank space on the map to explore.
yes,
Well, I mean,
Sorry,
that's it. That was
I
my
interrupted
kind
you.
of well, that was my kind of thought as you were talking about wanting to move through more of it. Is so much of this game is felt to me to be about the and even especially this kind of last moment as we kind of emerge from the fog literally, but like about the immensity of the world both in reality and in the game, and the fundamental impossibility of fully mapping it out, of knowing all there is to know. The world, as you said, that we built here together is constantly changing, and that is true of fantasy world, the best kinds of fantasy worlds or play worlds that feel lived in. They are
yeah,
constantly being built and rewritten. There are always new gaps, new questions, new spaces being revealed.
yeah, no, absolutely. I think wishes, like, I just want to play more of it. Like, I want to know what's in the outpost. I want to know what the outpost is. And I think sparkles. Technically, this was last time, but I'm really glad I made us plant, or I suggested that we be plant people.
Yeah.
I
That
think
gave
that
us
was
so
very
much to work with.
that was fun, even if it made us put a sexual content warning on this stream. I'm so sorry.
I mean, look, if we're gonna have one of our team showing up in the chat and making your mom jokes constantly, maybe we should put them on all of them.
That's not a bad point.
I want to echo your stars. Add one for I think Matt's description of the way in which sunlight became like a
Yes.
fundamental threat to us in the forest. The hollowed out
Yeah.
trees, the little rays of it peeking through. All of that imagery was incredible and terrifying.
I want to know what's going on there.
Yeah.
And it began us on this sort of path of building a world where the things that we as plants rely on most began to we realized that they may well be the biggest threats to our safety moving forward, to the point that we ended up in a place that's like, as I said, the opposite of everything we imagined safety would be. And I think that a lot of that comes down to that initial choice of Matt's to describe that vision they had of the trees and the wind and the sunlight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, wishes again. Want to play more. Want to figure out what it means to be a mushroom person. And
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. So stars, wishes, sparkles, stars. Yeah, this game, like I could see sitting down at a table with a bunch of my friends that I want to run a long campaign for and building the world together.
Absolutely.
Like I could lose hours to this. Even just running through it myself to build a world for inspiration.
I've done this. That was my most extensive playtesting was using it for a game that was centered around taking a river boat further up and down the river and building out the land around it, just using these tables.
Yeah,
It
all I
works.
can think of is it's not Catan. there's a board game where you build out like towns and roads and rivers and
Carcassonne?
Carcassonne.
thank you. This is like TTRPG Carcassonne, where you're slowly building out the world around you. And I'm with everyone. My wish is to see more of it, play more of it, to see it get published and backed and supported, do all the things.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. It really means so much to hear that from you all.
I was talking to my partner about this after the last stream, and the point you made about the kind of early changes, Nathan, to this, where you're like, oh, I had this whole section that I realized was just the quiet year. But like, I can't stop thinking about what it like going back to that settlement or to the new one, or even using like, if we find this outpost to be a place, like stepping into something like the quiet year to build it out, to like zoom right in and then step back to kind of send people out and explore again. And like the ways in which this game has the potential to interact in such generative and exciting ways in with other world building style systems and games that I love, or that the community loves, is so exciting and so promising.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, that was one of my goals, right? Is I wanted to make this a game you could play standalone, but I also wanted to make it a set of tools you could use as a game master, as a writer, or as like players in a game. Because like another thing that I've done within Farlands was we made a setting in Microscope that we then played like a D&D game in. And at one point we were like, we're going to do this like long extended trek across this like Arctic island. Let's just play Farlands to see how that trek goes, because the game we're playing doesn't have overland travel rules. And that was awesome. That was an amazing experience.
I kind of love the idea of like, instead of building the characters necessarily, like bringing your D&D party into Farlands and then, hey, we're gonna rebuild the pillar that was exploration.
Yeah, right.
Incredible. That sounds awesome.
Amazing. Well, I think in the interest of time, unfortunately, we're going to have to wrap things up. But yeah, as Elizabeth said in the chat, she is tempted to suggest a long-term OTG Farland stream or podcast. So hey, stay tuned. But along those lines, yes, like, subscribe, do all the things. I don't know, I'm bad at this part. But yeah, if you want to keep seeing more content from us, then I guess, keep tuning in. We stream on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Next week we'll be streaming another Brindlewood Bay adventure. So please join us and to rejoin the Mavens in Brindlewood Bay for yet another in a series of a really rough couple weeks that town has been having.
Yeah, lots of people have been dying. But yeah, thank you to Matt for playing with us, and thank you so much, Nathan, for trusting us to play this awesome game. I'm so excited. And as thank you also for showing up to the Access Forward Gaming Lounge at PAX East and just be like, hey, here's a game. And we were just so thrilled. So yeah, thank you, everyone.
I will make sure to keep you all updated on
Yes,
further
please.
developments. I pretty much always want to play, so like, just let me know.
Yeah.
All right.
And you can find me at sinful.games. That's my website.
Amazing. Well, catch you all next week.
Thank you very much.
Stay cool out there.
Yes.
Watch out for quicksand.